beautiful day, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Cafe and Interstellar Lounge with your host here, the Cosmic Messenger. I'm really grateful that everyone has met me here in this time and space sequence in the quantum field so that we can have chats. This video channel is all about having conversations, learning, growing, self-evolving in terms of ascension, awareness, self-awareness in particular, spiritual actualization, and awakenings in the multidimensional field of everything to do with spiritual, metaphysical, and what's happening in the realms of modalities, from a Merkaba spin to your light body, and everything in between. So I'm grateful to be here with everyone today. I just wanted to throw it out there that basically this weekend I'm doing this amazing workshop called Transmissions from Our Star Lineages. So I'm going to be covering the bases with Haridev of Sacred Alchemy Astrology. We're teaming up, and we're going to be doing a 3-hour workshop. It's from 1 to 4 p.m., sliding scale 66, 77, or 88, you choose. And it's going to be over the Zoom portal. So this Saturday from 1 to 4 p.m., and we're going to go through 6 of the most potent star lineages: Lyra, Pleiadian, Octurian, Draconian, Sirian, and the Andromedans. We're going to go deep into like what kind of starships do they use, how do they function spiritually, what are some of their values, what constellation do they live in, what do they look like. And they've had big impacts on our DNA, our human field, our galactic history, and we're not alone in the universe. So we picked 6 of the most potent, and then for the end you'll get a 30-minute guided meditation activation which will take you through all 12 of the dimensions, which connects us to all 12 stargates, and then pumps us in to connecting to those various star beings, the 6 that we'll be chatting about, plus more. So it's going to be an awesome time. If you'd like to join, Haridev at sacredalchemyastrology.com. That's the email, and it's done by e-transfer. Also, that day that we're doing the workshop has 5 2s. Numerology, 22222. That's pretty epic, right? October 22nd, 2022. Also on the 10th, of October, which is the 1010 Gateway, we opened up the portal, and so the 1010 Gateway, which is really cool as we stepped into that, guides us all the way through to January 11th, which is the 111 portal. Series of gateways throughout the year. Now yes, all of the months have those power days, which are very important. The other one is because it gives us constant reminders about connecting into spirit. Thing is, in 1992 and 1994, there were some big ceremonies that went on, especially for a lot of us that were born after that period or were young at that point. We didn't even know harmonic convergence happened in 1987, the big global meditation that opened up the sacred sites to then be able to give us all of their wisdoms once again. They reactivated them, okay? In 1992 and 94, we had portals open because we did it. And yes, there was ceremony on Earth. That opened up the ability for us to rewire our DNA as a collective, as a whole, and bring in the grid work of Earth to be then shifted and transmuted in the plasmatic field, which prepared us for our ascension gateway that we've been doing since 2012 till 2022. It's like that the main vortex of it, its most potent time. And so it enabled, some of the stargates and the seals to come into Earth and be able to open so we can have more reality shared with us. So that gateway is important because that whole zone is that transitional period, and it has great potency, great memory, great history built into it. Even though it's quantum, it's not past, present, and future. Awesome. So a lot of stuff going on there. So today I wanted to have a chat with you guys about, you may have heard the term Oversoul, but there's more to it. So I'm going to chat about the Oversoul, and then we're going to talk about your soul, your Oversoul, and then your complete identity and what that all means. Because it's a lot more wilder than we can possibly imagine, right? 144 in this whole talk of our soul, Oversoul, and complete identity is a very potent number. Because mathematics right now we're using base 10, which is 0 to 10 digits, right? 0 to 9 really is what we're using. And base 12 is more accurate to how the cosmos designed things. It's a simpler, faster, more accurate way to get the same results that you're looking for. And 12 times 12 is 144, right? We have 12 strands of DNA inside of ourselves, which transmutes to the 12 dimensions. Dimension 1 to dimension 12 are the 12 dimensions of incarnational reality. So when we incarnate and you see some form of matter that's tangible, touchable, even if it's semi-etheric, that's what we're working with. So the 12 times 12 makes your oversoul. So let's go back step a little bit. So you have your soul. You, your beautiful you. That is the identity of that portion of your oversoul. So you have one bit, you and your soul. And your soul comes in and it enters a planet through a cave of creation, right? And then which passes through a stargate. And then because you picked your astrological chart and all the sequences of events, then you are incarnated eventually into a body, which is a very complex affair and a very beautiful experience. So you incarnate into the body, and we're moving around our physical self, and yes, all of our biology is alive, but why is it alive? It's not what's animating the cells. Well, then our blood pumps and then it creates cells, but what's animating all of those parts? At some point, there's another thing going on, and that's universal life force energy, which makes up your soul. And your soul comes in and then animates the body. The soul's very alive when it doesn't have a body as well too. It comes in many different shapes, sizes, and forms. It's super cool stuff. So your soul resides inside of you, and that is one portion of you. But it's the one that we identify with right now when we're incarnating in a body, especially in 3D. We tend to forget that we have multiple selves. And our soul encompasses many different things. Our physical body and all of our feeling centers and everything that we experience is that. But simultaneously, you have your feelings, your intuition, your thoughts, your energy bodies, all that stuff going on. Your soul is interconnected into your light body. I speak about the light body lots because I assist people. That's some of the work that I do, beings and clients, when I do sessions. We're working on all the parts of the light body. We want to mold it, fix it, mend it, and put it back into its original status so that it can operate as vibrationally sound as possible. Now, your light body is components of the Oversoul. And the Oversoul has 144 parts. Okay? So you got your soul, which is encompassing your light body and all of its different parts, right? They're all residing together. But your soul is one thing. So when you incarnate, you bring in a family of souls incarnate together. They could be beings that are in your family, entities that you know as friends, people you meet along the way, a brother in the stars. They come in, they incarnate with you. So you have your soul family, but you're one soul within that soul group, we'll call it. But there's more parts of you, which is your Oversoul. And your Oversoul has even more soul groups that it incarnates with. Another 144 soul groups. But you have 144 parts to your Oversoul. What are these parts? Well, we're starting to learn about them, especially in the different spiritual communities and different metaphysicians and researchers out there. We're all figuring out what that is. But we know some of them. There's a lot of parts. 144 is a lot to keep track of. Deep in your subconscious, deep in your Akashic records, deep in the memory banks of all of your incarnations, Prime Creator, your spirit guides, though they're known. We're just discovering them as they go. I would love to flip through the master book. I'm sure it's out there somewhere. It might be the CDT plates. It might be another book on another planet showing all of the different parts that you have. But before you incarnate, you can definitely see them all, and you know exactly where all of them are going because they're perfectly placed. So your Oversoul, 144 parts. Well, what are some of those parts? So you have your light body, but what makes up your light body? Well, you have an etheric double. Comes just a little bit off the body. And a little bit further, you got your astral twin. And then you have your higher self. And then you have your essence self. And you have your maiden, mother, and crone templates. You have your light body. Right? You have other parts of you in physical form that are running around on planet Earth at this time. Oh, that person made me really upset. That might have been you upsetting yourself. Possibly, it's not always the case, but it can happen. Then we have Earth, and then we have parallel Earth, which is running in conjunction at a slightly different time cycle. And you have more parts of the 144 on that planet, or the parallel version of any other planet you live on, if they happen to have a parallel, which I imagine is quite common. Then there's Tara, which is 5D, and Gaia, which is seventh dimensional. You have parts, and they're all pinned together, right? They're cousins of each other. Ascension cousins, we'll call them. And you have parts when you incarnate that end up on there as well, too, on different time cycles. You have your primal light field currents that come in. You're made of sound, you're made of frequencies, cells and blood. How couldn't we possibly have more of a multidimensional experience to all of our incarnations? Now get this one with your Oversoul. When you incarnate, boom, we have a 26,000 year cycle that we do the precession of the equinoxes, right? Like a great cosmic year. In that cosmic year, going forward and backwards, 6 groups on each end, and they're in pairs called twin souls. 6 backwards from where you are now, and 6 forwards. It's all running simultaneously in the now. But 6 backwards, 6 forward. 6 and 6 makes 12. Interesting. So there's another 12 number. And you have twin souls of yourself incarnating about 4,000 years, because 4 times 6 is 24, so it's 4,400 and some ish. I don't know exact math. And they're incarnating simultaneously in all of those time tracks. Well, I'd love to go visit medieval Earth, or I'd like to be involved in X, Y's, and Z's. And I want to have this experience, and I want to be a CEO, and I want to be rich, and I want to be famous, whatever you picked. You're probably doing them in all of those different time tracks. And each of them have a web that extend from there. So your Oversoul also has more of those parts. The spirit guides, the ones that feel like they are you. Your master guides. You have these other soul families, we call them soul groups. Well, then you have Oversoul groups. Another 144 of those that interweb themselves into the connectors. So that's a lot of parts of you to operate. That's why when we say we are healing multiple timelines when we incarnate, it's because look how many bloodlines that makes. Look how many energetic versions of your higher self does that make, right? And the list goes on and on and on, all of the different templates. Well, now we're going to take a step even further and go past our Oversoul. And we have what's called the complete identity. Some people call it the complete self. When you incarnate into the third dimension, you have 1,728 perfectly crafted mathematics, numerology, 1,728 parts of your complete self on even more times. It basically covers all the time cycles in the third dimension, all of the possible portals that you could incarnate into through the stargates, every possible planet version that you could incarnate that's relating to Earth and all of its cousins. And as far as I'm concerned, and for how wild things have been going in all the chats we've had on this channel, it might even reach other planets and other galaxies and other dimensional viewpoints and other universes as well too, because there's 5 harmonic universes that make up our one universe. So as you jump dimensions, jumping, hopping around, enjoying the true field of the time matrix, you're having all of the much more access to the wild side of the galactic adventure. 1,728. Now, if, when, how, wherever you get there, if you move up the ascension timeline and you make it to the 5th dimension, which that's where Tara resonates as well too, and a whole slew of galaxies and planets, all their different viewpoints in them, you're going to reach another level where now you double that number. I don't even know what that number is in the top of my head, to like 3,400 and some. 5th dimension, you have that many components to the parts of yourself. So you're making great change even when you think you're in one body. The next layer after that, the 7th dimension, 6th dimension, they just keep going up. And you keep multiplying that number and doubling it every time that happens until you get to the 12th dimension, which then has the totality of all of those simulcast of all of those parts, which that would be the layer beyond the complete identity. That would be the utmost true version of yourself, which we're all interconnected anyways at that point. So think about how many parts that comes to and how much that beings you have of you teleporting, telepathic communication, stuff happening through your dream space. There's a high probability that some of that stuff is coming to chat with you, right? And by working with the soul, the Oversoul, and the complete identity, we're able to have a greater scope of our own self and our own reality. And what it means to be human, what it means to be a star being, what it means to be an etheric being, metaterrestrial, piece of prime creator, or just a pure soul with a lot of parts. Keeps the universe interesting, keeps the multidimensional field going. And when you incarnate with what I was saying, the 4,000 year gap, and you enter all these timelines where 6 pairs on each end go backwards and forwards in time, they're spaced out nicely so that you don't mess up the time-space sequence, right? So you can have these, even though you can still time warp and land there anyways and view yourself, it really takes care of the biological bloodlines, right? Because we all know that if you start breeding within your own family bloodline, weird things start to occur. So it takes care of that, but then it also puts you on a cosmic adventure to also go on a journey and locate all of these different parts. Now, how do we locate these parts and activate them, and why would we want to? Well, if you just want to keep incarnating on Earth and you want to stay in the 3rd dimension on a planet that, if it does not change, may not make it and continue on, then that's what you'll have. But if you want to access more dimensions, more realities, more universes, different galaxies, places to merge and integrate with, and imagine going on a vacation. Be like, I'm going to take a lifetime and I'm going to go over to Arcturus, in the Boetes constellation. That would be amazing, right? You can have more of an access to that, and especially on Earth, there's a little bit of a lock grid, so it makes it a little bit more challenging to make that happen. But by doing the ascension work, which is raising our frequency and paying attention to our spiritual nature, and asking and inviting that DNA and the cellular network to become activated, that's how we illuminate what we're going through in terms of having those access points. Now, because basically your life, after you go through a lot of the trials, a lot of the dark nights of the soul, a lot of through the distortions, you're still going to have intense moments. They're always going to pop up, but life generally gets easier. There's not so much of a weight, a burden, all the denial and the conditioning goes. You set it free. It still pops up like anybody else, but you transmute it and you release it a lot faster. You look at yourself clearly, you see your part in the drama, and you're willing to admit what you did right in the middle of it, or very shortly after. Self-reflection is important. So, to tap into your soul, your oversoul parts, and your complete self-identity, techniques and stuff that I use myself, because I'm a pretty wild child, but I'll throw some stuff out there for you, is inviting it to change. Rewiring the DNA in the cells is going to be one of your primary components. But even if you didn't formally do that, that's what's going to get changed anyways. But you ask it to show itself. Well, I want to learn more about my subtle bodies, which are the components of your light body. I'd like to learn more about my etheric double and what it means and how it functions. I want to know if there's more parts that the humans haven't discovered yet. Is there any books out there or any videos I could watch? Or perhaps go into deep meditation and visualize yourself having these connections into your field and bringing them in and wanting them to show themselves, or being humble and learning it from somebody else who knows about how to bring them in and how these things function. If you do a lot of Merkaba work, the star tetrahedron inside of you, outside of you, and a part of you, the 3-step program, which is a daily piece of work, you can vibrate at a rate so high that you can start to resonate that stuff to you, and you become a magnet for it, right? That's why I'm a big component of my life, and I like to broadcast that metaphysical modalities are really important, because just by doing them, by getting not just acupuncture for your physical body, but going and getting acupuncture for your energetic body. I know it hits both, but having that intention, or seeking different yogic practices, deep meditation, or like tapping your third eye on a daily basis for a couple years. And throwing in some cilantro into your diet so you can decalcify it even more. Put some frankincense on there, right? Tapping the thymus on a regular basis. Meditating. I have Reiki as my main practice. So basically I use it on myself quite regularly. Go take Reiki certification just for yourself. And you can initiate yourself into having that healing practice. But by moving that energy and building it up inside of you, you become more connected to the galaxies. And it's the galactic cord that goes above your head. That connects us in to the field of everything cosmic and brings it into wherever we've incarnated. We want information about different planets we've lived on. We want information if I have another body on a parallel Earth. You keep having this visualization of a past life coming in when you're on the treatment table, or while you're in dream space at home. That doesn't necessarily mean it's on this planet. It could be parallel Earth, Tara Gaia, another planet, right? There's so much that happens to it, and it can be, oh wow, that's a lot of information. I don't know where to begin. And for some people, it might even be overwhelming. Just start small. Giving you the full picture today so you can have like an idea of what you're working with. But in general, just work small and invite these pieces, because they'll come in at a rate that's perfect for you. You're going to have some moments where it opens up a little bit more. And then you just go with the flow. It's not going to be like that every single day. And if you want it to slow down, just ask it. It doesn't have to be something that's so scary or so intense. Just give it instructions like you would a computer, thinking it and speaking it. And then that will start to happen. And by completing these parts of our multidimensional self, then we're able to basically see ourselves more clearly. We also help the grid work of Earth, and we do other things that isn't spoken about as much, but we literally assist waking up the collective, healing different timelines, stopping distortions in the field, and as well as we rewire the grid work of Earth, and we heal particles and frequencies that are distorted, which includes in the foods and in the soil and in the land and in the air. And it connects us to who we truly are, right? And then we have a connecting cord. More so, it's not even just a connecting cord, it's like an axiotonal line that then links to our Oversoul and all of its parts. And I mean, if we have that many parts, wouldn't that be one of the most important things you'd want to start to share with the children of tomorrow as they're learning through whatever educational method or system we choose to engage with? That's a pretty important component to reality. And it makes up the parts of the universe, right? Of who we are, and where we're going. So we have a lot of soul groups, we have a lot of oversoul parts, and our complete self-identity is this magical, mystical experience that can send us on a 1,000,000-year journey to discovering and figuring out who we are. Now that's pretty rad. So I want to thank you all for listening today, chatting about the Oversoul, our regular soul, it's not even regular, our soul, our Oversoul, and our majestic, complete identity. I appreciate you all being here and sharing all this wisdom with you, and enjoy all of the gateways and portals that are opening up as we go into the underground. The sunlight starts to go, unless you're near the equator, of course, you got the equalized or more equalized sunlight. But enjoy this period of time of self-reflection, going under. We're going to be moving into Scorpio very shortly too, and that's always a mass transformation time. I love it because it brings out the potential to find more secrets. It's pretty awesome. Anyhow, take care, everyone. We'll talk to you all soon. My link is at the bottom of the video. And if you need any of my services, please reach out. Oh, by the way, I just redid my whole webpage, so check it out. It's pretty stellar. Metamorphosize 2.0. It's easier to navigate. The information is just so easy to read. The font, the graphics, there's lots of animations on it too. I'm really proud of it. It's pretty stellar. And every single treatment has its own section. And just go check it out. Linktree/The Cosmic Messenger. Click on the very first tab and it'll take you directly to my website. It says Sacred Website right at the top. Okay, I'm out of here. Take care, everyone.